Welcome to NightLore, where the stories you thought were fiction may not be. Tonight's tale comes from a fellow storyteller, a voice much like mine, who thought horror was something you could control. But sometimes, the things we create us back. This is his confession. The day Disney visited me, I've been narrating creepypastas for years. It started as a hobby, late nights, a cheap mic, a dim lamp, and that feeling of being the last person awake in the world. Over time, it grew into something bigger. People actually listened. Some said my voice helped them sleep. Others said it gave them nightmares. Either way, I took it as a compliment. I've always tried to keep things fresh. I know the formula, the tone, the pacing, the kind of story that gets under your skin without showing too much blood. I know what works. But lately, I haven't known what to say. Not quite writer's block, more like everything I thought of felt recycled, dead. And then one night, something came to me. Or maybe it was sent. I was half scrolling through TikTok, half hating myself for wasting time when a random "Did you know?" video came on my For You page. It said something I didn't realize was even possible. Apparently last year, Winnie the Pooh entered the public domain. Disney no longer owned him, or at least not entirely. I remember the clip saying something like, the original 1926 version is now free to use by anyone. That hit me like lightning. I'd seen the horror film Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey that came out right after that. It wasn't great, but it was legal. No one got sued. The video stayed up everywhere. If they could do that, I could too. It wasn't just about views. It was the idea of taking something pure childhood nostalgia and twisting it into something dark. People eat that up. CreepsMcPasta himself built an empire on it. So I started writing. I called it Return to the 100-Acre Woods. It followed a man who'd always felt an odd sense of familiarity whenever he saw Winnie the Pooh, even the first time he watched the cartoons as a kid. He'd dream about him. Pooh standing in the dark, wearing not a red shirt, but a white one. In every nightmare, that white shirt turned a deeper shade of pink, then crimson, until it was drenched. He started to remember things. A voice calling him back to the woods, a place that shouldn't exist. Eventually, through his dreams and a few eerie coincidences in the real world, he found it the real 100-Acre Woods. Not bright and green, but dead overgrown, crawling with flies and bones. The air thick with rot. He found the others too. Piglet's broken grin, Eeyore's hollow sockets, Rabbit's twitching paws. And in the center, Pooh, waiting. In the story, there was a ritual. Every few years, they'd bring a child to the woods, perform some kind of sacrifice, and soak their leader's shirt in its blood. When the ritual ended, Pooh would vanish until the next offering. My protagonist tried to stop them, of course. But when he failed, something changed. The nightmares stopped. He thought he'd escaped. Until one night, he woke up and saw Pooh again. The shirt faded. He needed more. That was my twist. The creature wasn't gone. He was hungry again. I was proud of it. It had everything nostalgia, dread the perfect moral hook. I posted it first on Reddit's How I NoSleep to see the response. It blew up faster than I expected. Comments poured in. People said it gave them chills, that it felt real, that they could see it in their heads. But just as I was replying to a few comments, the post vanished, removed by moderator. No explanation. Fine, I thought. Maybe I broke a small rule. I reposted it on an older account. Gone again. That was weird. But Reddit moderators can be touchy, right? So I brushed it off and moved to my main platform, YouTube. I recorded the story myself, spent hours mixing the audio, layering faint forest sounds behind my voice. The thumbnail was simple, a pair of yellow ears peeking from behind a tree. The title, The Woods Remember You. I hit upload and went to make coffee. By the time I came back, the video was gone. No warnings. Just a big red banner in my dashboard. Removed for copyright violation. Claimant Disney. I froze. That couldn't be right. Winnie the Pooh was public domain. I appealed it immediately. Wrote out a calm professional response. Explained that I'd used the original version of Pooh, not Disney's likeness. That my story was a parody commentary, transformative work. It took all of 15 minutes for the reply to come back. Rejected. I thought maybe it was an automated system. Bots flag stuff all the time, so I tweaked the story, removed the name Pooh in some places, replaced it with the bear, edited the thumbnail. Re-uploaded. 5 minutes later, gone again. Now I had 2 strikes on my channel. One more, and I was done. Everything I'd built, gone. And that's when the email arrived. It came from an address that looked official, legaldisneystudios.com. The subject line concerning your recent uploads. The body of the email was short. Just 4 words. We'll be visiting soon. I thought it was a prank. Maybe someone trolling me. But it was signed in a way that looked authentic, complete, with a legal footer. A confidentiality notice, even a link to the Disney website. My stomach dropped. Visiting like. In person, I started Googling fast. Disney Legal Department contact. DMCA escalation procedure. Fake Disney email scam. Nothing like this came up. It felt absurd. Disney didn't visit people. They sued them. They sent letters. They didn't show up at your door. But my chest wouldn't stop tightening. It was around 2 a.m. when I heard the first knock. 3 sharp raps. Firm. Measured. I live alone. No deliveries, no friends nearby. I froze, holding my breath. Then came another set of knocks, slower, heavier, like someone trying to be polite but impatient. I didn't move. I hoped they'd go away. Instead, I heard gravel crunching outside the faint creak of the fence gate. Someone was walking around the house. I told myself it was paranoia. Maybe a stray cat or a late Amazon delivery gone wrong. But then I heard a window creak open upstairs, and the sound that followed wasn't footsteps. It was scuttling. Whatever it was, moved too fast to be human. I hid under my bed, clutching my phone, trying not to breathe. Above me, something thumped against the wall, then the dresser, then the bed frame. I could see its shadow under the door, long, twitching, bending wrong. When it entered my room, the air went cold. I felt the mattress dip, as if someone or something leaned on it. Then a voice whispered, calm, deliberate, right next to my ear. Disney still owns the rights to the movie adaptation. I couldn't scream. My body just locked up. Another voice from across the room followed. The likeness of the red shirt remains protected, and then a third, right beneath me. You shouldn't have written what isn't yours. I snapped, rolled out from under the bed, and bolted. I didn't even look back. They were behind me, not running, gliding, dragging. I caught glimpses of them in the moonlight, tall figures in wrinkled suits. Faces stretched to thin smiles that didn't move. Each one had eyes like melted glass, reflective, empty. I sprinted down the stairs, heart pounding. The floorboards screamed under my feet. I ducked into the coat closet, slammed the door, and covered my mouth. Silence. Then a whisper through the wood. Tigger was introduced in the sequel books, still under copyright. I almost passed out from holding my breath. A moment later, the door creaked open. A hand long, grey thin, reached in and gripped my shoulder. They pulled me out effortlessly. I stumbled onto the floor, gasping. In the moonlight, I saw them clearly for the first time. 3 of them, all wearing business attire, black suits, white shirts, blue ties, but their proportions were wrong. Their arms were too long, their legs bowed inward, their necks twisting like puppets on invisible strings. One crouched beside me, lowering its face to mine. Its breath smelled like ink and burnt plastic. "We protect our creations," it said softly, "even from imagination." Its hand rose. The skin split open, revealing something glowing inside a searing red light. Before I could move, it pressed one long finger to my forehead. The pain was immediate, blinding. It felt like molten glass pouring through my skull. I screamed, I think I did, but the sound melted in the air. Then everything went black. I woke up on the floor, drenched in sweat. The house was silent. No broken windows, no footprints. Everything looked exactly as it had before. For a second I thought, maybe I dreamt it. But then I heard my phone buzz. A new email, same address, same footer. Content dispute resolved. No explanation, no apology. Just that. I staggered to the bathroom, splashed water on my face, and looked in the mirror. My reflection stared back, pale, shaking eyes red from lack of sleep. And right in the middle of my forehead, 3 small burns, perfectly circular, arranged like a familiar silhouette. Mickey Mouse. I tried to tell myself it was a coincidence. Maybe I'd pressed something hot against my skin in my sleep. Maybe it was psychosomatic. But it didn't go away. It didn't even scab. It just stayed faintly glowing when I looked at it under dim light. My parents visited a few days later. They joked that I looked terrible, that maybe I'd been up too late editing again. I didn't say anything. I didn't dare. Because when they looked at my forehead, they didn't see it. The mark was invisible to everyone else. Things started happening after that. When I tried to record new videos, my mic would cut out mid-sentence. Playback always included faint voices behind mine, whispering legal jargon, DMCA codes, things I never said. Every time I opened YouTube Studio, I'd see a red warning that vanished when I clicked it. One night, I caught something worse. During playback, I saw a frame, just one, where my face flickered into something else. Same shape, but my eyes were black. My mouth stretched in a cartoon grin, and the burn mark was pulsing. I deleted the file, but it came back. I'd empty my recycle bin, clear caches, even reset my PC. Each time the story file, return to the 100acrewoods.mp3, would appear again on my desktop. Modified date, the current time. Sleep became impossible. Whenever I closed my eyes, I'd hear them again, those same voices from that night. Public domain is not a playground. Creation belongs to the creator. You borrowed our honey. Sometimes I'd wake up to see movement. In the corner of my room, shadows in the shape of ears. The air smelled faintly sweet, like burnt sugar and ink. And from the darkness, a whisper. "We need more." That line, the same one from my story. I started to wonder, what if that was the point? What if the story wasn't just a story? What if by writing it, I'd invited them? Every storyteller leaves a piece of themselves in their work. But what if the work leaves something back? I checked the original Winnie the Pooh book again. Buried deep in a Wikipedia footnote, I found something I swear wasn't there before. Adaptations and derivatives must not imply harm to the original character's essence. That phrase, harm to the essence. I don't know what that means. But when I clicked the citation link, it led to a blank page URL Disney Legal Department .internal. My browser froze, and then the webcam light turned on by itself. At first, I thought my system glitched, but the red light on my webcam stayed on. The recording app opened automatically. No mouse movement, no input. It was recording me. I unplugged the webcam. It stayed on. The screen flickered, showing static, and then for half a second, a familiar image. A figure standing in the corner of my room. Yellow fur, red shirt, head tilted. It wasn't moving. It was watching. I left that night. Packed my hard drive laptop microphone, everything I could fit into my car. I drove until sunrise, through 3 states, until my hands stopped shaking. Found a cheap motel in the middle of nowhere, checked in under a fake name, disconnected every device from Wi-Fi. But even here, I can still feel it. When I turn off the lights, I see a faint glow on my forehead in the mirror. When I close my eyes, I hear the same voices calmly reciting terms and conditions. Last night I found a new email. No sender this time. No subject. Just a single line trademark. Lasts forever. I started thinking about revenge, not in a childish way, not with lawsuits or angry tweets. Something quieter. Something poetic. They punished me for telling a story about their bear. But soon, another will be free. I've done my research. In 2024, Mickey Mouse himself enters the public domain. When that day comes, I'll be ready. I'll write again. And I'll make sure the story hurts. If you're hearing this, it means the file uploaded automatically. Because I didn't. I haven't touched my computer in days. But somehow, every night, I find a new version of this audio sitting in my folder, renamed Slightly Edited, as if someone's improving it. I don't know who's listening anymore. Maybe it's you, maybe it's them. If you ever decide to write your own horror story, remember this. You can use what's free. You can borrow what's public. But don't ever take what belongs to the mouse. Because he'll come for you too. If you're still here. Thank you for listening. The storyteller who recorded this was never heard from again. Some say he vanished after that final upload. Others claim to have seen his channel go live at 3 a.m., streaming nothing but static with faint whispers underneath. Maybe you'll hear them too, if you enjoyed this story. Subscribe to NightLore for more tales that should have stayed untold. And remember, curiosity isn't free. Someone always pays the price.